I'm Eric Anderson. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, a tentative settlement in a lawsuit against the city of San Diego, filed by a woman assaulted by a former police officer. And the wealthy Mexican businessman at the center of San Diego's illegal donation scandal is telling his side of the story, what he said in court documents. And you won't be seeing these planes flying for too much longer. SeaWorld and Southwest Airlines are ending a long-running partnership.
I'm Peggy Pico with a checkup on Covered California, who and how many people signed up and what comes next. Plus, the San Diego Futures Foundation tries to bridge the digital divide, how computers, training, and support are getting to those who need them most, and how you can help.
Have you ever thought of video games as literature? Some experts say you should. How gaming can actually help kids learn. And there's a combination for you. Here's a combination. It's a circus and a whodunit, all on the same stage. We'll show you how it works. KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Dwayne Brown is off tonight. There is a tentative settlement in a lawsuit tonight connected to a former San Diego police officer convicted of assaulting women. A woman known only as Jane Doe in court documents was one of the victims of Anthony Aravalos. She sued the city and demanded an independent monitor for the police department. Terms of the settlement have not been released. Jane Doe's attorney says some things still need to be worked out. A Mexican billionaire accused of using straw donors to make more than $600,000 in illegal contributions to San Diego campaigns says that Sempra is behind his legal problems. Jose Sasumo Azano Matsura also contends a retired police officer manipulated him into the financial scheme. KPBS investigative reporter Amitha Sharma has been following this story, and she joins us now. Amitha, Azano has pleaded not guilty in court, but this week he filed court papers that basically outline his side of the story. What did he have to say?
Azano says that Sempra is angry with him for financially backing a landowner involved in a property dispute with the company in Mexico. Azano alleges that San Diego U.S. Attorney Laura Duffy began investigating him in 2011, soon after Sempra's lawyers asked the government to do so. Azano's lawyers say this, quote, gives at the very least the appearance that the U.S. Attorney's Office is acting on behalf of Sempra against Sempra's perceived antagonist. Azano also wants the government to reveal why U.S. Attorney Duffy has recused herself from the case. The U.S. Attorney's Office and Sempra both declined comment.
Amitha, Azano also points the finger at a former San Diego police officer, Ernie Encinas, who at one time provided security for him and his family. Tell us about that.
Encinas has pleaded guilty to conspiracy. We're now learning that Azano blames Encinas for roping him into campaign giving. Azano said he expressed concern for police widows and asked Encinas to whom he could give $100,000 to help them. Azano alleges Encinas instead advised him to contribute to a friend running for political office who would help the police widows. That friend turned out to be District Attorney Bonnie Dumanis during her 2012 mayoral bid. In addition to Encinas, car dealership owner Mark Chase has pleaded guilty to serving as a straw donor for Azano. Two other men accused of helping Azano steer money into San Diego campaigns, web services provider Revneet Singh and lobbyist Marco Polo Cortez, have pleaded not guilty.
Investigative reporter Amitha Sharma. Thanks. We've got much more on this case online at kpbs.org/dirtymoney. The House was supposed to vote today on a bill to deal with a surge of Central American immigrants at the border, but Republican leaders couldn't get support from conservatives, so that bill got pulled. Another border bill died in the Senate on a procedural vote.
Stop deportations! Stop deportations!
Meantime, there was a demonstration outside the White House today protesting U.S. policies on deporting migrants who are in the country illegally. 112 people were arrested for blocking traffic. Prices will go up on the state's health insurance exchange next year, but officials with Covered California say the increase will be less than what they've seen in the health care market for the past 3 years. Here in San Diego, premiums will rise an average of nearly 6%. The statewide increase is just over 4%. But Covered California says 88% of its customers are eligible for tax subsidies to reduce the cost. The next open enrollment period starts in November. Peggy Pico, meanwhile, takes a closer look at the effects of the Affordable Care Act here in San Diego and throughout California.
Reports out this week found 3.4 million previously uninsured Californians now have health care coverage. But the cost of health care insurance premiums increased dramatically since 2013. Here with an analysis of the good news and not so good news is my guest, Jan Spenceley, Executive Director of San Diegans for Health Care Coverage. And Jan, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, what's this good news from the Kaiser Family Foundation survey on the number of uninsured who have health care coverage here in California?
Well, I think that they did a survey of a panel of patients, of individuals, clients who had been uninsured, and they found that 60% had gotten coverage. And that was really a pretty high number.
Did anything about that surprise you as far as who got signed up the most?
No. Actually, no. I think that we were pretty impressed. In fact, I was surprised more with the Latino penetration, that the number of Latinos, because we really did feel like we had a lot more work to do in that particular segment.
And what do you think, well, let me go with this then. What do you think this tells you about what went right and also what went wrong in getting people signed up for Covered California?
I think what went right is the word got out. You had to be pretty much under a rock not to hear about it, or in a cave somewhere, because the word got out. It got out on Facebook, it got out on media, for the most part. Obviously, some people didn't hear about it, and so, but the majority of people did hear about it, and those that did, a high percentage of them enrolled.
So for those who didn't hear about it, how can you reach them this next time around?
Change the message, change the channels. I mean, I just don't, I think we need to increase the number of channels that we're using for getting to people.
So when you're saying challenge,
okay, media, it might be clergy, it might be getting into employers. I feel strongly about that, working with employers and educating them more, getting to schools. So I think it's getting to community leaders.
So when you're talking about reaching out to these people, and I'm especially interested in reaching out when you're to ask you about the employers, you were saying help them understand how they can access Covered California? No,
actually, it's more have them understand how Covered California can help their employees and what decisions they make impact their employees' access and their family members' access.
I see. California's insurance commissioner report says that insurance rates have gone up between 20 and 80%. And Covered California announced today that premiums will rise about 4% next year on average. Most people surveyed in the Kaiser Family Foundation survey who did not sign up for coverage cited high cost as the reason. Do you think health insurance premiums are affordable?
Well, you know, most of the people we saw, and we did see a lot of people who had their benefits canceled last year in 2013, and who were quoted very, very high rates by their insurers. And so they came to see groups like ours. And we were able to enroll them in coverage that they thought was affordable. We didn't have anybody walk away. They got better benefits and more affordability. That's because of the tax credits. So as you heard the insurance commissioner say, one thing is the premium rate, another is what the person pays. I think that there's a big difference because you have premium tax credits now through Covered California,
which didn't exist before. Now, State Insurance Commissioner Dave Jones is backing a ballot measure, Prop 45, that would essentially have him approve high health care rate increases. That's my understanding of it. What's at stake here?
Well, I think what he's saying is those rate increases that those people got their letters about, that's what he's referring to, that they got pretty high rate increases and that left unreviewed and unregulated rates would just continue to keep going up. But, you know, I haven't really followed that. The Affordable Care Act did give states the rights to do that, and our state just did not adopt it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not part of the Covered California. 35 states
did adopt it.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Coming back to Covered California, what's happening next for people who are currently enrolled or would like to sign up?
Well, first, the people that are currently enrolled will start getting information from Covered California about how to access their account, how to do updates, what their new plan might look like in terms of, remember you heard about that rate increase, and what their new premium tax credit and therefore their bill would look like, and do they want to make changes. So they will get a series of communications from Covered California. And as usual, they'll be told that there's somebody out there to help them with all of that. New people, starting in November, those who are not yet enrolled can start enrolling. And so for January 1.
All right, so we have a lot going on in the next couple of months. All right, Jan Spenceley, thanks so much for the update.
Thanks for having me.
The Republican candidate for California governor says he wanted to test Jerry Brown's claims that the state is making a comeback. So Neil Kashkari spent a week living as a homeless person on the streets of Fresno, looking for work and sleeping on park benches. He also had a video crew along to record that experience.
Hey, I just got into town and I'm looking for work. Are you guys hiring, or anybody around here hiring at all?
No, at this time we're all filled up.
Kashkari didn't find a job, although he didn't point out every place where he looked. Fresno's unemployment rate is about 3 points higher than the state average. Kashkari says the state's politicians are ignoring the poor and need to do more to create jobs. He's trailing by Governor Brown by 19 points in the polls. The Brown campaign says Kashkari's Fresno trip was just a stunt. San Diego Assemblywoman Toni Atkins got national attention for her brief stint as acting governor yesterday. She was on ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live last night.
Now that you have had a taste of it, would you eventually like to be the elected governor of the state?
Oh, who wouldn't want to be governor of the greatest state in the country? Absolutely. But I'm happy to fill in for Jerry Brown and, offered to let him stay away a few more days. But, I know that he's going to be back and ready to go.
I hope he does stay away. Before you go, we should do something fun. We should invade Oregon or something like that, March in. Well,
someone already made that suggestion and talked about a few other things. So, I was hoping to go down to the border and sort of like, I'm in San Diego, so we have the border with Tijuana. So I was hoping I could go down and jump back and forth across the border and say, I'm governor, I'm not governor, I'm governor, I'm not governor. But, that sounded like fun.
Fun and games, of course. Atkins did make some history, though, while she filled in for Governor Brown as the first openly gay person to lead the state. SeaWorld and Southwest Airlines are splitting up, ending a 25-year-old marketing partnership. For years, Southwest has been flying jets painted as Shamu, but the airline's been targeted by animal rights activists since the release of the movie Blackfish. That film criticizes SeaWorld for keeping orcas in captivity. Southwest says it is a business decision and the airline intends to focus on international service. SeaWorld says it was a mutual decision. The partnership will run through the end of this year. Video games have a reputation for rotting young minds with their emphasis on weapons, violence, conflict, and death. But KPBS reporter Matt Bowler tells us some teachers and game designers say they can also be highly beneficial educational tools.
Video games are fun, but they can be violent. Many popular video games are about conflict and death. But can they be educational? The game designer Liz Fiacco says that some video games are like great books.
Well-done games are literature. They're amazing, and it's just like a different kind of way to experience something other than just like through a book or anything like that.
Professor Bernie Dodge says that the fictional virtual worlds of games should be part of education.
But if we really want to prepare kids for this century, then I think there's a different kind of game required. It's more like a simulated experience. It's more like moving through an environment that you can't actually get to right here and now.
Exploring new environments is something he did with his own son. Dodge remembers how his boy learned from a game about solar systems.
And I watched him at age, 4 or 5, intuitively figuring out what would make a stable solar system.
Fiacco says she discovered how to think logically while playing the game The Logical Journey of the Zoombinis, and it didn't feel like school.
You never felt like you were being lectured to at any time. Everything was experimental. You would try things, you would fail things, and you would learn the best practices through that kind of trial and error.
Failing and trying again is a big part of video games. It's this learning cycle that video game journalist Malik Forte says helped him.
Failure and rejection and things of that nature really used to scare me. And with a video game, being fun, but still having that element of challenge to it, I want to challenge myself. I want to see if I can overcome this and attain the knowledge that's necessary. Just like in the video game, you got to kind of attain the knowledge, you got to kind of research and know what you're doing.
But he doesn't think video games should replace books.
Well, where I see books being better is automatically right off the bat, your imagination. This is more of a chance for you to kind of paint the picture for yourself.
However, video games and their special kind of narrative offer a uniquely immersive experience.
When you read a book, you're kind of like the person on the outside looking at the story and watching the movie, whereas when you're playing the video game, you feel like you're actually in the movie. You're actually the person, the star.
Video games educate by letting players discover new worlds, and each time the game is played, the player has a unique experience.
One player might feel angry at one moment, another player might feel betrayed by that moment and disheartened. And there's really kind of no way to predict that because it's happening to different people across the board rather than characters you've determined in the book to have a specific character about them.
Dodge says video games can help students learn skills that are valuable outside of the classroom.
I think the teamwork or the leadership skills, the kinds of things that games like that can develop are not on the test. We all value them as parents. We all value them looking at what we want the next generation to look like.
And Liz Fiacco says that games have a place in the classroom, just like books or movies, just not every game.
I definitely think that there's a place for games in the classroom, and it just depends on the type of game. It depends on the type of book or the type of movie.
Matt Bowler, KPBS News.
A San Diego organization helps bridge the digital divide for disadvantaged residents, nonprofits, and small businesses. Peggy Pico explains what they do and how you can help.
San Diego Futures Foundation offers assistance with equipment, software, technical support, and training to improve computer access and skills. Here with more on the state of our region's digital divide and resources to close that gap are my guest, Gary Knight, Executive Director of San Diego Futures Foundation, and Denise Nelson with the county's Aging and Independence Services. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Gary, what does this digital divide actually look like in San Diego, and who's most affected by it?
Well, the numbers are staggering. When they did the original research, it was probably 70% of of San Diegans were connected, but that's still 30% that were not, and that's a significant number. That adds up to about 500,000 families.
It's specifically the types of people that
low-income families, the seniors, the ones with disabled services, and also a lot of the disadvantaged businesses in the area would be those that qualify under the Digital Divide initiative.
And Denise, why is being technically, literate in technology, I should say, or having access to a digital world important for seniors in this case?
Well, because they live in this world, and the world is embracing technology so rapidly. Everything is going in that direction. They're going to be even more isolated than some of them are already. And so we're very concerned about those who are who don't have any knowledge of it at this point, or who are resisting it. And basically the numbers are that people over 65, about 50% don't even have email. So I mean, you're talking way behind in this. And where is technology going to be in 10 years? If you're 65, when you're 75, you're going to be completely disconnected.
Well, certainly, Denise, the seniors, medical records are online. There's you need access, hopefully, to your family or other government services as well.
Even just getting on an airline, They're always going to be in the C group with Southwest.
With Southwest, the last on board. Gary, the foundation offers a number of programs to help seniors and these community members that you reach out to. Tell us about some of the programs available.
Well, the one that we're just referencing is the distribution of computers either through donations or through low cost to families, and we provide also low cost internet access. We also have training programs. There's a number of people who don't understand, if they do have a computer, how to make it work, or the programs that they have to access. So we have training programs there, and then we also have developed a workforce readiness program where we train people with certifications to help them get jobs in the industry. We also have a call center that's available for when you get the computer. You may not always remember what you were taught, and so you can call up and get help from us on that.
Well, let's go to Denise with this one then, because teaching computer skills to seniors, you've actually discovered there's a good format that goes with that as far as who helps them the most. How do they learn the best?
Well, they feel, the majority of people we've surveyed feel that it's better if they have a peer helping them. Someone their own age who can kind of understand what it's like not to be a native with technology. And that's why we're building a program called the Tech Ambassador Program. And we're asking older adults who are savvy with computers, who might be recently retired, to help us, to help be trainers, to do one-on-one or some classes maybe in libraries or community centers, and help their peers learn the benefits of technology.
And they can find out about that through the Futures Foundation, correct?
Correct.
I know that Futures Foundation provided 40,000 computers. Where do those computers come from? How much do they cost? Yeah, let's go with that.
Well, the computers primarily, we get a lot of donations from industry, but we also get a majority of our computers coming from a donation from HP, who has the county contract. And that means that they were at the county, and as they term out every 3 years, they tow those computers out and then donate them to us. We refurbish them, get them ready, put new software back on them, and then send them out in the community to schools, libraries, senior centers. The list goes on. And then we also make them available for purchase from families that are disadvantaged or low income.
So you have the computer and you have the class, but you also have to pay for internet bills. Is there anything that helps out with that?
Yes, we have arrangements with Cox, Time Warner, and other service providers to be able to provide a low-cost introduction. Mostly those families we just talked about will qualify, and they can get it at a reduced rate.
All right, Gary Knight and Denise Nellison, thank you so much.
Thanks, Peggy.
Thank you.
The Circus Collective of San Diego wants to expand awareness of the circus arts throughout the development and production of original shows. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando takes us behind the scenes of circumstantial evidence to find out who done it.
Where? The Glaus Haus. What? A ringmaster gone missing. Who? The usual suspects.
Yes, I'm Anton, the chef. Pepin.
Yeah, my name's Lola Hornsby from Chicago. I'm Violet Monroe. I've been with the circus for many, many years. I'm clearly the star. Yeah, I know what's going on. Everyone's talking about this ringmaster gone missing.
Yes, the ringmaster. People think I did it with the knife, but it was not me.
I think Lola did it.
I think Lola did it as well.
And they're all saying I did it, but I was on top of the big top. Well, it's a circus show. We'll have trapeze, aerial straps, rope, juggling, contortion. So all those kinds of just spectacular performances, but all woven into a storyline of kind of a down-and-out detective who stumbles across the circus troupe, missing their ringmaster, and he's trying to solve the case, and each performer is a suspect. The whole concept of circus has changed dramatically recently. It's gone from, what most people think of, elephants and lions and freak show, to being this, new contemporary art form that really focuses on just exploring the limits of the human ability, physically and emotionally to connect with an audience, and we're really excited. The Circus Collective is a part of this growing movement of grassroots contemporary circus troupes that are just really challenging all the old notions of what circus is. And it's a very intimate show. It's a smaller venue, and we like that the audience is right up close and they get to be involved in trying to kind of solve the whodunit mystery and participate in that way.
Yeah, I think that Violet Monroe did it. She had this little thing going with the ringmaster. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, I tell you, it's ridiculous.
Find out who done it this Friday and Saturday night at Glaus Haus with circumstantial evidence. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
And Glaus Haus is located at 1815 Main Street in Barrio Logan. San Diego County's weather is going to be more of what we've been used to seeing. Upper 70s along the coast with some morning clouds. Upper 80s for the inland valleys through Sunday. Sunny in the mountains. Temperatures there in the 80s to 90s. And what you'd expect in the desert. Temperatures over 100 degrees. Plenty of sunshine there. Recapping tonight's top stories, there is a tentative settlement in the lawsuit connected to former San Diego police officer Anthony Arevalos. He was convicted of assaulting women. The city was sued by one victim who demanded an independent monitor for the police department. Terms of that settlement have not been released. And if you buy health insurance from Covered California, this is the rate increase that you can expect next year. Managers of the exchange say the premiums will go up an average of about 4% across California, but they say the increase is less than what we've seen in the regular insurance marketplace in the past. And most buyers on the exchange do qualify for tax subsidies. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope you have a great evening.